Yeah, Sarah, it is a big deal. Lots of reaction pouring in today. 1981 is when the festival first started in Park City. Of course, we're at Abravanel Hall today, which would have been one of the sites, one of the large festival locations had we won this bid. But Sundance officials announced today that Boulder, Colorado has beaten us out for that process. Now, both cities put together bids of millions of dollars. In fact, ours was about $5 million, but ultimately Boulder's was more enticing to the 35-member panel of Sundance experts that voted on this. Now, County Mayor Jenny Wilson said she believes it came down to money, but there was also speculation that Utah's politics and specifically a recent ban on pride flags in schools and on government property had something to do with this bid. Well, Sundance issuing a statement saying politics was not part of the decision. We came to this decision enthusiastically after carefully reviewing how each finalist city matched our ethos. But I will tell you that when I talked to Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson, she says it was impactful.
I will tell you the timing was not good, right, to actually move hurtful legislation and make comments that were not accurate. And I think as you look at a 35-member vote, that's the footprint of people who voted, and a close vote, clearly legislative conservative noise that was meant to be divisive in the end was not helpful.
Now, as I mentioned, Salt Lake City's bid was over $5.5 million. That included state funding, money from the city, from Salt Lake County, Park City, and private donors, all to entice the festival to stay. This was large and small venues alike. The bid included Abravanel Hall as one of those, Salt Lake City Library, even the Clark Planetarium. They also offered shuttle service to and from Salt Lake City and Park City, and $1.7 million worth of volunteer hours. But in the end, again, it just wasn't enough. Now, Wilson said that she thinks there will be several issues with Boulder. First of all, it might be hard for those from LA to get to Boulder. She thinks Salt Lake is easier to get to. But she was also critical of the Sundance Film Festival, saying they've become less about Robert Redford's vision of supporting independent film and more about some of the social parties.
It seemed like they were chasing money. And if you are looking at change due to shifting conditions in the industry, and indeed they were, more of a burden due to COVID and people being more interested in seeing product in a different way, it is up to you as an organization to solve those problems, not go out and say, hey, I mean, even the idea of an RFP for an arts organization, I found offensive from the beginning. We have been here, we have contributed, the state, the county, Park City. Could we do it differently? Absolutely.
Well, and she went on to say there that the city, the county, all the partners, this coalition, trying to keep Sundance in Utah, was willing to acquiesce to what Sundance wanted. An RFP, of course, a request for proposal, that is basically just a fancy word for the bid process, which is what they've been going through. Now, as I talked to Salt Lake City leaders today, they were proud of the bid they put together. In fact, one of them told me that they did all they could do to try to keep Sundance here. And so while they were disappointed, they knew that they put their best foot forward. But ultimately, guys, a lot of reaction here. State leaders weighing in. A lot of people disappointed that the festival is going to go.
Lindsay, a mixed bag of emotions. We also understand this change is going to affect a lot of people. What kind of economic impact will Sundance leaving Utah have on the state?
Yeah, Sarah, well, in 2023, $118 million worth of economic money came in to Utah because of the Sundance Film Festival. So presumably around that much will now be leaving Utah. It created 1,608 jobs and $63 million in wages. So you might not see Salt Lake City take a huge hit because the festival was never actually here. This bid was to put it in both Salt Lake and Park City, kind of that joint venture here. So Salt Lake City may not feel it as much, but certainly the state will on a whole because we lose those economic dollars. But then in particular, Park City will probably feel this the most.